We got an update for you today regarding the future of the WWE 2K license, the arcade games, and why this might be a problem for players. Let's get into all the news and our thoughts right now. Overall, I've enjoyed 2K22 and I am excited for 2K23. I'm sad that we're not getting as many updates anymore for 2K22. Feels like they've moved right on into development of the next year's game. Go figure. And with the most recent reports coming out that 2K22 has been deemed a critical success, a revenue generator, it has done well across the board, across platforms, 2K is happy, WWE is happy, and so obviously we are getting 2K23, which was previously announced by 2K themselves on their earnings call. We have some recent news regarding the updates of the future of 2K games, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be going anywhere. Now, before I get into the news and the breakdowns and everything, what do you think about WWE games staying under the umbrella of 2K? Is it a good thing, a bad thing, and what do you want to see? Let me know. Now, we got the article update coming from Sports Gamer Online. There's a lot to dissect in here, so let's go. It appears that the WWE and 2K Sports partnership isn't going anywhere anytime soon regarding the main WWE 2K license. Despite having talks with EA about moving the license when the current contract expires, things have quietly settled down. Though both were interested, it doesn't appear to be going anywhere regarding the main WWE simulation series jumping anytime soon. Now, we covered this feels like a year ago. It was probably just a matter of months ago where we talked about the possibility of EA stepping in and taking over the 2K franchise, the WWE games franchise, going over the simulation, and we just thought it's just gonna be a bunch of loot boxes, isn't it? So I will say, I'm happy that, EA doesn't seem to be taking over the franchise, although I'd be kind of curious what they could put together. The microtransactions have me just scared, but 2K is going down that path too, it feels. And there's been a lot of rumblings within the, gaming news and gaming sphere as a whole regarding studios being acquired by other companies. For example, the constant talks of the likes of Microsoft scooping up different studios like an EA, Ubisoft, and the likes. We could see some acquisitions and sales coming through over the next couple of years, and that could change things too. Would 2K ever be sold off? I don't know. That's a whole other conversation, isn't it? The article continues. One reason given is that WWE was thrilled with the overall response and sales of WWE 2K22. All parties accept that more needs to be done for the series, but believe its return was a major win moving forward. And I think we agree, more needs to be done in a lot of different areas of this game, of this franchise going forward. And I've said this before, but I do feel that 2K22, after the debacle of 2K20, that this is much more of their baseline to work on and grow the franchise for years to come and take it in a fresh direction with the new camera angles and updated modes, the like. And I think 2K22 is very much like their entry into the game and see where it's going to go off of this for the future. Sports Gamer Online continues by saying that according to a source, there is still a little bit of time left on the current agreement between WWE and 2K. There isn't an extension in place between the two, but there is still a few years left on the current deal. Both sides are happy enough that there's no reason to look to have it come to an early end. And I think with this, it would be too tricky to have WWE step away from 2K and start something fresh with their simulation game, annualizing it and go with a different company. I think it would take too many years. They already had a long break with 2K trying to refresh the whole game and get it out. I don't think WWE would want to wait several years to have a brand new game with a brand new developer completely redone. And I am surprised by this. If this is accurate, that they still had a couple of years left, it felt like their contract was coming to an end. Now they haven't really re-signed according to the article here. So they might just be going, WWE might just be going with more of a game by game annualized approach to this by saying we're not extending the contract by any means, but we still have a few years left and we're just going to ride this out and see what comes out. We also know of other games that WWE has confirmed to be developing or working on, at least, talking about an RPG game. And we have updates when it comes to Battlegrounds too. Sports Gamer Online continues by saying that after a poor response both commercially and critically, there doesn't appear to be a sequel in the works for the 2020 arcade wrestling title. In fact, It was recently said by a source that if 2K wanted to make another arcade wrestling game, that there's a good chance it would have to be completely rebranded and rebuilt. Now, I'm pretty sure that Battlegrounds was confirmed by 2K themselves on an earnings call maybe 2 quarters ago, that it was slated to come out at the end of this year, and we haven't heard anything, which makes me feel like the game maybe was in development or it was more of a placeholder, but there has been zero talks of Battlegrounds. And frankly, Battlegrounds to me wasn't that bad. I think it filled a need that players had, a certain market of players, very, very casual, pick up and play and just have a little bit of fun with WWE stuff that's over the top. It's got elements of All-Stars in there. Was it groundbreaking and next gen and all this stuff that hardcore players want? Absolutely not. It was extremely casual. It was worth, the $20 when it was going on sale. And again, over the top and doesn't have a lot of depth to it. However, I will say that with the likes of AEW Fight Forever coming out, that is taking the hardcore arcade approach from years past, like the likes of No Mercy, I think that Battlegrounds 2 or whatever, a revitalized version of it, would be very, very good for 2K and for WWE, and almost can act as a competitor to that of AEW Fight Forever, because that and 2K games, the simulation style, they're all in their own different worlds and they're doing their own thing separately. They are not one-to-one or like for like. So, okay, we have the franchise continuing. The 2K games are going to continue with WWE and 2K for seemingly years to come. We already know of 2K23. So why is this a problem? Why is this necessarily a bad thing for players? My worry is that for players is that the franchise is stale and doesn't receive giant lifts and changes over the years, and 2K just kind of gets complacent and just shovels out some minor updates and tweaks like EA does with, for example, Madden. If you look at the reviews for Madden this year, it's just not good. It's very bad. It's bland. And you can see that the franchise has not changed over time, and frankly, it's because EA they make gobs and gobs of money off of Madden that they really don't need to reinvest into it to really change things drastically. 2K, I feel with the WWE side of things, that they really do need to pay attention to this, because you have a very, very passionate group of fans and players that want to experience the best of the best and see new changes and see new updates to the roster, to the match types, the modes, all of this stuff. But I worry for players that we are going to get incremental small tweaks and updates from 2K23 all the way to 2025 and beyond. And they tried to revitalize and change up the engine for 2K22, and I appreciate that. And I'm kind of a fan of the close-up camera angle, the controls. I have some issues with them, but I think that there is a good base there for them to work with. I just hope that they're going to now be able to take this and really build off of it and give us something even better. But I worry that with WWE putting a lot of their eggs in one basket with 2K, that we only get the simulation game that it sounds based on the Sports Gamer Online article. We don't get a Battlegrounds to be able to diversify the catalog. The only saving grace is that when Stephanie McMahon mentioned how there is an RPG game that they are working on, or they will be working on, she announced that. Who knows what that would look like and who would be working under that. But I think fans should be a little bit concerned that we're going to continue to see these small changes, and next year's game, maybe it's going to be incredible for us and check off even more boxes for things we wanted. But there is a chance that 2K24 is going to be a flop. And we've seen this in the past where we see incremental changes and tweaks, and then they seem to do a full hard reset on the franchise and take things out that we have had for several years. So should it all be with 2K? Should they change it up and diversify a little bit with other developers, being able to spread out the brand of WWE so other companies and other developers can get a fresh crack at it, and we could see what somebody else could do with the license? And if you want to talk more 2K22 and 2K23, I have this episode right here talking about my factions and future of that, and well, why it's got me kind of worried. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode.